Hello, it's me, the ukulele teacher. Before COVID-19, the ukulele was seen as a great social instrument. You could play it with your friends at the park, at the pub, at your school, at your church. Basically, wherever there were people, there were some ukuleles pretty close by. But since lockdown, people have also rediscovered that it can be a great instrument to play on your own. It can be restful and therapeutic, and it's also great exercise for your brain. So whether you've just got a hold of your first ever ukulele, or you've been playing for a while but you're not sure if you're doing it quite right, this is the video for you, because I'm going to tell you everything you ever wanted to know about the uke, but were too afraid to ask. By the end of this video, not only will you know your first 4 chords, you'll also know at least 11 songs. So keep watching to learn how to play a whole bunch of your favourite tunes on the ukulele. As you've probably seen from some of my videos, ukuleles come in all sorts of wacky shapes and sizes. But if you're just starting out, these are probably the ones that you're going to be playing. There's the soprano uke. It has a brighter and softer tone than most of the bigger ukuleles that you might play, but because of its diminutive size, it doesn't have as much projection, which basically means it's not as loud. However, if you're just playing in a small space on your own with a couple of friends, it's perfectly adequate, and a lot of people love starting on the soprano ukulele. It's also nice and small, which means it's very easy to carry around. The next size up is the concert ukulele. The concert ukulele is of course a little bit bigger than the soprano ukulele, but it's still tuned the same. So if you've learned how to play the soprano ukulele, you'll be able to play the concert ukulele straight away without having to learn anything else. The concert ukulele is a bit bigger than the soprano ukulele, it has a fuller sound and a warmer tone, and because it's a little bit bigger, it's a little bit louder. The next size up is the tenor ukulele. This is even bigger than the soprano and the concert, and as you might be able to see, the frets are a little bit wider apart, which means it's a little bit trickier to play. However, it's still tuned to the same notes as your soprano and concert ukulele, so if you can play one, you can play them all. The tenor ukulele has a deeper, fuller sound and is more resonant. A lot of people think it's good for fingerpicking. The next size up from the tenor ukulele is the baritone ukulele, but the chances are you probably won't be playing one of them unless you're a bit of an advanced player, because they're not tuned the same as the other 3 sizes, so you'd have to learn from scratch. In fact, the baritone ukulele is actually tuned to the top 4 strings of your regular classical guitar. The baritone ukulele is also even bigger than the tenor uke. And last but not least is the bass ukulele. Again, the chances are you probably won't be starting out on a bass ukulele, but if you do manage to get a hold of one, they are a lot of fun to play. Just be warned though, they're absolutely huge, and they aren't tuned the same as your soprano and concert and tenor ukes. In fact, believe it or not, a bass ukulele is actually tuned up the same way as a bass guitar. So if you're a bass guitarist and you're fed up with lugging your bass around, you might want to consider switching to a nice bass uke. As I said at the beginning though, the soprano is probably the most common ukulele for a beginner, but as it's tuned the same as a concert ukulele and a tenor ukulele, you might find one of them a little bit more comfortable for you depending on the size of your fingers. By the way, in case you guys are wondering, both of the ukuleles that I'm using in this video were given to me by my good friends at Carla. Carla makes some amazing ukuleles and they're really good, especially for beginners. You've probably seen me use them in loads and loads and loads of my videos. I put links to these particular ukuleles in the video description below, and if you click on either of those links, you will get a discount on anything on the Carla website just because you watch my videos. So if you're looking to save money on a brand new ukulele, just click on my exclusive link. The first thing you're going to want to do, not just the first time you play your ukulele, but every time you play your ukulele, is make sure that it's in tune. Because if it's not in tune, then no matter how good you are at playing, and no matter how nice or expensive your uke might be, it'll always sound horrible. When your ukulele's in tune, it should sound like this. Absolutely beautiful. But when it's out of tune, it'll sound really, really nasty. Don't worry though, it's very easy to get it back in tune once you know how. All you have to do is tighten or loosen these tuning pegs at the top of your ukulele until they sound good again. If you tighten the string, the note will start to sound higher, and if you loosen the string, it'll start to sound lower. Now the 4 notes that you need to tune your ukulele to are G, C, E, and A. Firstly, you could try tuning it by ear if someone plays you the right note and you try and copy it so yours sounds the same. Which can be done, but it's not 100% accurate, and it also means that you need someone else with a ukulele to play you the right notes. Alternatively, my favourite method is to just get a little plastic clip-on tuner that you can put on the top of your ukulele like this, and it'll tell you exactly how much you need to turn the strings until they're in tune. As I can see, this is a little bit low because it's to the left of the centre, so if I just tighten it up a little bit, and now it's constantly green and the line is in the centre. That means that this is correctly tuned to C. Now this string should be an E, but when I pluck it, it says D flat, and that means I need to tighten it up until it becomes an E. Now it says E, I just need to tighten it a little bit more until it's flashing in the centre. Now you might be able to see I've gone a little bit too far this way. So now the line is veering to the right of the centre, so I just loosen it again until it's back in the middle and showing a nice green light. And the A string is way too low, currently showing as a G sharp, which means I need to tighten it up until it says A. Now it says A. I still need to get that line in the middle. So I just keep tightening until the line is in the middle and the tuner is showing a constant green light. Personally, I'd recommend grabbing a little clip-on uke for yourself as soon as you get the chance. They're absolutely indispensable, and they're really probably the most accurate and easy way of tuning your ukulele. I've got a few links in my Amazon store to a couple that I recommend, but generally if you get one for about $10 or $15 or pounds from your local music shop or from Amazon, you can't go far wrong. But if you haven't got a clip-on tuner yet, and you haven't got a friend with a ukulele to play the notes to you, what else can you do? Well, at a pinch, you can use an app on your smartphone. I'm using this one here called Guitar Tuner. It basically works exactly the same way as your clip-on tuner, except that I just hold my phone close to the ukulele. If it says the note's too low, you just need to tighten the string a bit, and if it says you're too high, you just need to loosen the string a bit. And as you can see, it's exactly in tune. Whichever way you decide to tune your ukulele, when it is in tune, it should sound something like this. Now I know it might sound complicated at first, but believe me, it's a really, really important step and you aren't going to want to skip it. And you will soon get used to tuning it up and become a lot easier for you as well. A lot of people ask what strings they should get on their ukulele. Now there are loads of different kinds of strings that you can get, but as a rule, probably whatever strings that your ukulele comes with will be fine for you. Unless they're super cheap and nasty and just won't stay in tune, then probably the strings that your uke came with will be just fine when you're starting out. If you put some brand new strings on and they just won't stay in tune no matter what you do, then all you need to do is stretch them for a bit. And there's a couple of ways you can do this. Firstly, you can literally just pull them. I just put my fingers down on the fretboard and pull the string away from the ukulele. Be careful not to pull it too hard, you don't want to snap it, but just pull it up and down the fretboard like this, and that'll help stretch the strings. Or what I personally do is tune them about 1 or 2 notes too high and leave it overnight. And then when I come down in the morning, they're nicely stretched and ready to play. But again, if you're tuning your uke too high, then be careful not to snap those strings, because restringing your uke is no fun whatsoever. Personally, I hold it to my chest, and the body of the ukulele sort of rests in the crook of my arm like this. And that means that my right hand is in a nice position to start strumming, just above or around the sound hole here. Some people stand up when they play, and some people sit, and that's absolutely fine. If you do struggle with holding your ukulele for whatever reason, then you might want to consider getting a little strap. The great thing about the ukulele is that it is incredibly versatile. I've personally got well over 800 lessons on this YouTube channel alone, and I cover everything from video game music, pop and rock, classical, kids songs, and even hip hop and heavy metal. So rest assured, whatever you want to play can be played on the ukulele. And the good news is, a lot of your favourite songs can be learned very quickly indeed. Now I'm simplifying this a lot here, but there are basically 2 main ways of playing the ukulele. There's finger picking, where you pluck the notes out individually. Or there's strumming, where you play all 4 strings together to play a chord. Now, fingerpicking can be a lot of fun, and learning scales and melody can be important if you want to learn more and understand about music. But if you just want to strum along to a couple of your favourite songs, then most people start off by learning a few chords. Chords are where you play all 4 strings at the same time with a technique that's known as strumming. Chords and strumming are generally used to accompany yourself or others who are singing songs. I was scared of dentists and the dark. I was scared of pretty girls and starting conversations. Now, there's lots and lots of different chords you can learn, and all the chords have different properties, or flavours if you like. There's major chords that sound happy and confident, like G major. There's minor chords that sound a bit sad and moody. There's 7th chords that are a bit quirky or spicy. There's sus4 chords that are really sweet and tug on those emotional heartstrings. There's augmented chords that are anxious and suspenseful. And there's diminished chords that are a bit tense and dark and sound kind of unstable. Now, there are loads and loads and loads of chords you can learn, and if you ever come across a chord you don't know, a good way to look it up is to download my free app, the Ukulele app, that has a chord finder tool inside it. But you'll generally find that a lot of the most common pop and rock songs stick to the same 7 or 8 chords pretty much all the way through. And as you learn more songs, you'll gradually learn these extra chords as they come up. The most popular 4 chords that I'm going to teach you today are C, A minor, F, and G. Now, we're going to spend a couple of minutes learning these chords because they are super, super, super important and pretty much the foundations of modern pop music on the ukulele. I promise you, with just these 4 chords and nothing else, you will be able to play literally hundreds of your favourite songs. So let's learn how to play these chords. To play the chord of C, press your 3rd finger down on the 3rd fret of the 1st string, the A string of your ukulele. When I say push it down, I mean you've got to push it right down so that your finger is pushing down and touching the fretboard. But make sure that it's in between the 2 wires. You don't want it to be touching one of the wires, or the sound will be a bit muffled. When your finger's in place and you're pushing down on that string, slowly strum all 4 strings in order like this. And that's how to play the chord of C. To play the chord of A minor, put your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, so it's pushing down on that fretboard. Again, make sure it's not touching the wire or it'll be muffled. Also, make sure that your 2nd finger isn't touching any of the other 3 strings or they'll be muffled as well. Once it's in place, slowly strum down all 4 strings from G, C, E, A in order with your thumb. And that's the chord of A minor. To play the chord of F, keep that 2nd finger exactly where it is and add your 1st finger to the 1st fret of the 2nd string. Again, make sure it's not touching the wire and make sure it's not pressing down on any of the other strings or it'll be muffled. And when the fingers are in place, slowly strum each of the 4 strings in order from G, C, E, A, like this. And that's the chord of F. And to play the chord of G, put your 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 1st string, and your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Again, make sure they're not pressing on the wires or accidentally muffling any of the other strings. And with each of the fingers in the correct place, strum slowly all 4 strings from bottom to top, like this. And that's the chord of G. Now, if you've never played the ukulele before, I know it's going to take you a little while to get your head around those. So if you've got this far, congratulations. I would pause the video and spend just a couple of minutes getting to grips with each of these chords, because it's important that we can play them backwards and forwards from one chord to the other without thinking about it. C, A minor, F, and G, or backwards, G, F, A minor, C, or even in a completely random order. Because if you think about it, with just those 4 chords, there's so many different combinations you can have, and pretty much every one of those combinations will be somewhat familiar and probably make up the basis of a song that you know. So memorize those chords and practice changing from one to the other. It'll take a while at first, and don't worry, it's better if you start off really, really slowly, because it's more important that you can play the chords correctly rather than whizzing from chord to chord but not really playing them very well at all. It just won't sound good. So really take your time learning the chords and moving between them. So now we've got our 4 chords, what do we do with them? Well, I mentioned earlier about strumming, which is where you play all 4 strings more or less at the same time. So how do you actually strum? Well, there's a few different methods you can use. You can use your thumb for that nice, soft Hawaiian sound. You can use your index finger, which gives you a little bit more volume and a bit more control over the strings you're playing. A lot of people like that method, but personally, I find it hurts my index finger a little bit. You can form a very loose O sort of shape between your thumb and your forefinger, like this. Or you can use a little piece of felt or plastic known as a plectrum or a pick. I'm using a guitar pick, and as you might have noticed, it's actually super loud. There's nothing wrong with that at all, and if that's a method that you like to use, then go ahead and use a pick. But be warned, because if you're playing with a group of other people and someone makes a mistake, they're probably going to be looking at you. Personally, I prefer to use the loose O shape between the forefinger and the thumb. So, strumming is made up of downstrokes and upstrokes. A downstroke is when you strum the ukulele starting at the G string and you're playing down towards the floor. That's a downstroke. And an upstroke, you've guessed it, is when you start on the A string and go up towards the ceiling, towards the G string. That's an upstroke. Now if you use my little O method, you'll find that your index finger hits the strings on the way down, and on the upstroke, the back of your thumbnail hits the strings. Now the way you inject a bit of flavour into your strumming is with strumming patterns. This is the order in which you play down and up strokes when you're playing your chords. Now personally, I try and tend to encourage people to find their own patterns for songs, but there are a few classic patterns that work again and again and again, and they're classics for a reason. Generally, for most pop and rock songs, people like to use the down, down, up, down, up pattern like this. Down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. Alternatively, if a song is in 3-time, a nice pattern to play is down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, like this. But generally for the poppy, rocky songs you'll be learning, the most common pattern is down, down, up, down, up. So make sure you've got those 4 chords, C, G, A minor, and F. And you're very, very comfortable playing that down, down, up, down, up strumming pattern. Because once you've got those 4 chords and that one strumming pattern, you're going to be ready to play an awful lot of popular songs. A really easy song to start off with, and I played a little bit of it earlier, is Riptide. You can start off by just playing the chord of A minor, G, and C. And in fact, you can play those 3 chords pretty much all the way through the whole song. Now the strumming pattern that I'm playing at the beginning is a little bit different to the down, down, up, down, up pattern that I mentioned. In fact, I'm just playing down, down, up, down, up. I play it once on the A minor, down, down, up, down, up. Then I play it once on the G, down, down, up, down, up. And then I play it twice on the C, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up. So I'm just playing. And when I've got that line down, I can play it through 4 times and I've got my verse. It should sound something like this. I was scared of dentists and the dark. I was scared of pretty girls and starting conversations. Oh, my friends are turning green. You're the magician's assistant in their dreams. Ooh. And then when we go to the chorus, the chords are exactly the same, A minor to G to C all the way through. But here we can start playing that nice down, down, up, down, up strumming pattern like this. Down, down, up, down, up, 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 down, down, up, down, up. Lady running down to the Riptide, taken away to the dark side. I wanna be your left-hand man. I love you when you're singing that song, and I got a lump in my throat 'cause you're gonna sing the words incorrectly. Did you manage to keep up with me? If you did, congratulations, because you've just learnt your first song. And I told you it was pretty easy, didn't I? It's just those 3 chords, A minor to G to C, all the way through. And in fact, there are hundreds, thousands, millions, maybe even 1 billion songs you can play with just some combination of those 4 chords. C, A minor, F, and G. And if you don't believe me, I'm going to show you a whole bunch more in just a moment. But before we do that, I want to show you one more piece of kit that you might think about purchasing if you're going to be a ukulele player. And that's called a capo. So you may have seen some videos on the internet with some of your favourite singers using a capo and wondered really what it is. Well, capos come in all shapes and sizes, but basically they are a portable bridge that you can move up and down the fretboard of your ukulele to change the key that you're playing in. You see this thick black line at the top of the ukulele? That's called the bridge. And basically what that does is determine the 4 notes that are played on the open strings. i.e., when you're not putting your fingers down anywhere on the fretboard, what are the strings, the open notes that play when you pluck the strings? In the case of the ukulele, of course, it's normally G, C, E, A. But if you put this little gadget somewhere on your ukulele, then those notes will change. For example, if I put it on the 2nd fret of the ukulele, like this, then the open notes are now A, D, F sharp, and B. So why would you want to use a capo? Well, there are 2 main reasons why people use capos. The first is so that you can play chord shapes that you already know, even if the song itself is in a different key. For example, we already know the chords of C, G, A minor, and F, but if you found a song where the chords were D, A, B minor, and G, you could put your capo on the 2nd fret and be able to play them with the same chord shape. Because with a capo on the 2nd fret, what was a chord of C before, now becomes the chord of D. What was the chord of A minor, now becomes the chord of B minor. What was the chord of F, now becomes the chord of G. And what was the chord of G, now becomes the chord of A. So sometimes you might find a couple of difficult chord shapes in the songs you're trying to play, but if you get the capo in the right place, generally you can find an easier chord shape to play that same chord. The second reason you might want one of these capos is because the song you're trying to sing is too difficult for you vocally, and it's either too high or too low for your comfortable vocal range. Let's take Riptide for example. You've just heard me play it with the chords of A minor, G, and C. Lady, running down to the Riptide, taken away to the dark side. I wanna be your left-hand man. But go ahead and pull up the original version right now on YouTube or Spotify and have a quick listen, and you'll find it doesn't sound quite right. And the reason for that is because when he's singing the song, Vance Joy has a capo on the 1st fret for his vocal range. And now we'll go ahead and sing the song with a capo on the 1st fret, but playing those same A minor, G, and C shapes, and we'll see it sounds a bit more like the original. Lady, running down to the Riptide, taken away to the dark side. I wanna be your left-hand man. So even songs that don't sound like you're just playing the A minor, G, C and F chords often are still using those chord shapes, but they're putting a capo somewhere on their instrument. If you're playing on your own, a capo is entirely optional. But if you're playing with others, it's really important to make sure you're all playing in the same key. So make sure either none of you are using one or you're all using one. Either way, lots and lots of popular artists use capos and there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. So don't let anyone make you feel bad if you want to use a capo. Okay, so now you've learned the full chords of A minor, G, C and F. You've learned how to strum and you've even learned what a capo is. I have promised you that there are hundreds and hundreds more songs that you can play with just those 4 chords and nothing else. And I wasn't lying. In fact, I'm now going to show you really quickly 10 songs you can play with just those 4 chords. Before I do that, however, I just want to let you guys know that I put out at least one video every single week right here on YouTube, so be sure to subscribe now. Turn on the notifications so you never miss a lesson, and leave a comment in the video below to let me know what songs you'd like to learn in the future. I also have over 800 songs on my Patreon songbook available exclusively for people who support me on patreon.com/uteacher, and you also get all kinds of other perks, goodies and rewards as well when you sign up to my Patreon, including early access to lessons, extra bonus material, and behind-the-scenes content. Not only that, but signing up to my Patreon helps me to carry on doing what I'm doing and means I can put out more of these videos for you. So subscribe to the channel, sign up to my Patreon, and if you like, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter as well. Right now though, we've already learned Riptide, so I'm going to teach you 10 more songs you can play with just the chords of C, G, A minor, and F. Don't forget, if you'd like to learn the full songs, I've got song sheets for everything on my Patreon page. 1, 2, 3, 4. She asked me, son, when I grow old, will you buy me a house of gold? And when your father turns to stone, will you take care of me? I don't know my name, and I don't play by the rules of the game. So you say, I'm just trying, just trying. Why you gotta be so rude? Don't you know I'm human too? Why you gotta be so rude? I'm gonna marry her anyway, marry that girl. Marry her anyway, marry that girl. Yeah, no matter what you say, marry that girl. We'll be a family. Why you gotta be so rude? No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. Cecilia, you're breaking my heart, you're shaking my confidence daily. Oh Cecilia, I'm down on my knees, I'm begging you please to come home. When I'm gone, when I'm gone, you're gonna miss me when I'm gone. You're gonna miss me by my hair, you're gonna miss me everywhere. You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. I don't like walking round this old and empty house, so hold my hand, I'll walk with you, my dear. The stars creak as I sleep, it's keeping me awake. It's the house telling you to close your eyes. Some days I can't even trust myself. It's killing me to see you this way. 'Cause though the truth may vary, this ship will carry our bodies safe to shore. Oh, don't you dare look back, just keep your eyes on me. I said you're holding back. She said shut up and dance with me. This woman is my destiny. She said ooh, ooh, shut up and dance with me. Look at the stars, look how they shine for you, and everything that you do. Yeah, they were all yellow. I came along, I wrote a song for you, and all the things that you do, and it was called Yellow. So then I took my turn. Oh, what a thing to have done. And it was all yellow. Your skin, oh yeah, your skin and bones turn into something beautiful. You know I love you so. You know I love you so. So there you go, that is everything you ever wanted to know about the ukulele but were too afraid to ask. You've learned 4 chords, you've learned strumming patterns, and you've even learned your first 11 songs. I post a brand new video on YouTube each and every week, so be sure to subscribe now and turn on the notifications so you never miss a lesson. Also give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below to let me know what song you'd like to learn next. I've been the ukulele teacher, and until next time, I love you all and I wish you the best.